Welcome back to the Dumpster Fire podcast. My name is Olivia Clare, and I am your host, and joined, of course, by my producer. Would you say hello to everybody?
Hallo,
Hello. What's your name, sir?
Wie heiße Derek? Mein heiße.
Yes, this.
Or my Whoa.
What
Whoa. I got that one up for the chats.
Love that. Um, so it's been quite some time since we've gone live, done an episode or anything like that. Clearly. The unfortunate reality is that when your day job isn't the podcast, we have other things going on in our lives. So we've been busy trying to, I guess just exist at this point. But things have been busy. We're back to our regularly scheduled podcasting now. And instead of doing an episode pre-recorded today, we decided we were just gonna go live so that Derek wouldn't have to edit later. And that is just the reality of it. It's exactly what he told me. So, as many of you know, we're going to be working on that Pearl video that's going to be coming out here very, very soon. We have everything ready, but it's not totally like recorded yet, but everything is ready for it. So, it's like all the research is done, and yeah, very, very excited.
I'll
Before
say
we
like
pop
two
into
weeks out. Probably 2 weeks.
yeah, it's about 2 weeks out. And before we jump in, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate that. We're going to be keeping up with the chat the whole time. If y'all want to drop comments in there, we will be watching. And then we're going to go ahead and hop right into this first topic. We have our first story today from Timcast News. We saw that back in July, an American soldier, Private Travis King, crossed the DMZ, and reports said that he was facing disciplinary action in the army after he had some kind of legal trouble in South Korea where he was stationed.
I think I know what
Um,
happened. It's been a while since I've heard the story, but it's I think he beat a guy and then
yeah,
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 so you know.
and he crosses the DMZ because he doesn't want to go back to where he was based out of in Texas and have to face disciplinary actions there. And he's accused of punching a man at a drinking club in Seoul, insulting the South Korean army, and damaging a police car in September of 2022. And he spent 47 days in South Korean prison or jail, don't know which one, on assault charges, and was released July 10th when 6 days later, I believe it was, he crossed the DMZ, went into North Korea, and on August 16th, the North Koreans finally released a statement regarding King. And we have it from Timcast with the lovely Hannah Claire reporting that the report says that King told investigators he harbored ill feelings towards the inhumane maltreatment and racial discrimination in the U.S. Army. He further said that he expressed his willingness to seek refuge in the DPRK or a third country, saying that he was disillusioned at the unequal American society. And King's family said he faced discrimination in the army, and during his time in South Korea, he faced a large amount of discrimination. Now, look, okay, wow. So I did my senior research topic on like North Korea when I was in undergrad, and so I know quite a bit about North Korea and their government and their system. And let me just say that if he thinks that he's going to be treated anything like any different there, if not worse, they they're very racist there. They once had, I think it was three white American men after the Korean War that like defected to North Korea, and they praised them because they were white. And a lot of Koreans tend to want to be more pale, as opposed to like
It
people in America want to be more tan. It's like kind of the
it's
inverse.
kind of it's not just a Korean thing. It's like it's a very Asian thing. It's
Hmm.
like a very trendy thing for Asians now that they want to be more white looking and then
Hmm.
the white people here want
Like
to be more
looking.
dark looking and then
Yeah.
it's yeah, full circle. Boys go to Japan. They'll love you there better.
Oh god. Yeah, I've never ever heard of like someone was so disillusioned with their freedom in America that they decided they're going to go to North Korea. Like that's just such a step from like, oh, like I have this freedom in America. I love it. Like I love this country. But North Korea seems to have more freedom for me because, man, that institutional racism in my country, I was like speechless when I saw this because like most of the time it's like a tourist or someone who went there for journalism stuff gets taken. This man willingly just crossed it, like he snuck into like a tour and then just was like, and I'm gonna defect.
Well, it's even more funny is how he escaped in the first place because he was on transfer from the jail
Yeah,
he was at to the airport and somehow slipped away
just
on
slipped
the.
away. Like what?
I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say this: a black man in an Asian country, and you couldn't find him
Slipped
in the crowd,
away.
and you couldn't find him in the crowd, and he just got away. I'm just saying, it's there's not too many hanging around there, probably. So
Yeah, yeah, and now they're saying like we're gonna do anything we can to get him back. Like why? He clearly does not want to be in America. He clearly made his choice. And what are we going to trade? What are we going to bargain to get this kid back?
nothing,
Like I
nothing.
I don't think we should be bargaining or trade. Like if anything, he's either going to be hailed as an anti-American hero who is defecting from the tyrannical, like they're going to either put him up on a pedestal and say, look, this is a prime example of why America's bad. This is exactly what we've been telling you. They are terrible people, and we have an example right here. They're either going to do that or he's going to die. One of the two. It's a very extreme, but it's like he's going to be praised and live like royalty, or he's going to die from a mysterious illness, like that one kid who was taken because they said he stole something, and then when he was returned to his family, he was in a vegetative state until he ultimately died a few days later, a few years back. And so it's going to be one of the two things. And
He also
okay,
doesn't have a POW status. Like usually when
no.
you're taking over, the U.S. remember hearing reading an article or something that he was not given POW status in all of its immunities that he would normally have. So if they
Hmm.
just want to say hard labor camp, I mean, and U.S. isn't gonna. I doubt they'll bargain for him. There's.
I don't know. The Biden administration might do things in a moment of
You're right.
desperation to
Save
win
face.
the black vote, right? Because we're coming up to an election season now. And oh my gosh, I just like when first you hear someone defects to he does have a POS status. That is funny. I like that. That's good. This is true. Like I can't imagine being in a country that you know like come on, you cannot tell me that you look at North Korea and you think that's a free country. That's freedom. Like no one does that. There's a reason we have defectors that and there's very little like comparative to the amount of North Koreans that have tried to defect, very few of them actually do it because guess what? They get killed or get put in a labor camp and then they're killed and then all three generations above and below them are killed. Like it's not a free place.
No.
Like if I had a cousin commit a crime in America, I would not be punished for that whatsoever. If I had a cousin and I was in North Korea who committed a crime, I'd probably be dead too because I'm related to them, not because I did anything, because I'm related to them. And to me, freedom is, like you don't have to deal with that. And God forbid we have elections and like you can say what you want about our elections, but by and large, they're not elections. North Korea has elections. No, they don't. They don't because if you don't vote for, the Kim family, you die. You get publicly executed. That's ridiculous. Like I don't understand. It's just absolutely ridiculous to me. Now, speaking of people who burn down the thing they claim to care about, like maybe your identity, we have it here from Jack Posobiec that Project Veritas has laid off almost all of their staff. Now, I remember a while back when James O'Keefe was ousted, but we can see that Hannah I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the new person who took over Project Veritas reportedly let go of all of the employees pretty much, and all of production, all field ops, all of communications, all of legal. Only office administration, an HR person, and a couple people from development or any kind of informational tech have remained. Wow, that is
Well,
wow.
what is Project Veritas even doing anymore since they lost James O'Keefe and now basically 90% of their staff, it looks like. What at this point are you doing? Especially legal. I
They're
mean,
probably liquidating.
I was saying if you lost your legal, I mean, I know Project
Yeah.
Veritas gets a couple lawsuits here and there from time to time, so
Well,
good luck with that.
yeah. Well, I think that they're one of the biggest problems is that they can be sued by James O'Keefe, and that will literally kill the company. I think he was going to sue them too
I
for
thought
wrongful termination. I
Project
thought that was already
and I thought
happening.
they were countersuing suing him too for
They probably ran out of money. That's my biggest guess. Is they're going bankrupt, liquidating the entire company, and they're done. Now, O'Keefe founded the company back in 2011, and it's not surprising considering who James O'Keefe is that he has him being pushed out has led to this downfall. I'm not surprised at all. I kind of saw this coming. I was surprised it didn't happen earlier. I really thought that when O'Keefe was first um, pushed out of Project Veritas, they would immediately fall apart. I was surprised they stayed on as long as they did. They lost a lot of staff then. They lost a lot of money. They lost so much. Like I
all their
remember
donors. They lost pretty
all
much
like
all
almost
their
all their donors because they went to O'Keefe Media Group to follow James O'Keefe because Project Veritas is synonymous with James O'Keefe. You think of one and the other. Like you can't say Project Veritas without someone thinking of O'Keefe and O'Keefe without thinking, oh yeah, the guy that founded Project Veritas. Like if you know anything about the him, it's that. You know, you might not know a lot, but you know that one thing. And he does incredible work. Obviously, he's gotten tons of information from people, and it's absolutely incredible what him and his staff and his volunteers can do. But to push him out of that organization for what? Taking a sandwich from a pregnant woman? Wasn't that like the biggest allegation? It was like
there was
something
a bunch
so
of this.
stupid.
They had
Like,
a bunch of little
and
tiny
it's probably not even
allegations that didn't.
true.
No,
Like,
it probably wasn't true.
what?
It's the stupidest thing. I don't know. They shot themselves in the foot. I don't know what really like pushed them because it was what was that story? It was the Pfizer or was it the Pfizer
Yeah, the
story?
Pfizer one was like the last one I think that
Yeah,
he broke
it was like
before
that big story. It was
leaving.
like probably one of the biggest stories they broke, and
Well,
immediately
it
after
just
he gets canned. So
it's crazy because you can just think like, were these other people in the pockets of Pfizer? Were they like, what was the connection there? How did that happen? Why
well,
was it
just
so like it was like right after too? It was like nothing like everything was fine, then it wasn't. That was a huge story. That was huge. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna get rid of you now. We can do this better. Like, yeah, you wanna bet? Because
just
now O'Keefe Media Group is doing better.
pay attention to all the people who got O'Keefe fired and to see where they work next. If they're, you know, in certain companies as in certain high-ranking positions, I think we'll have an idea what happened then.
Yeah, maybe they wanted to destroy it because of these companies saying, hey, like band together, get O'Keefe out of here because he's kind of ruining us
Yeah.
now.
And then when
He's exposing
Veritas
things.
crumbles, we'll give you a nice cushy job as a
Yep.
supervisor or what's the word I'm thinking of?
Or whatever, some kind of like board
Director,
member
yeah,
or
director of some
yeah.
bullshit thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can be the director of our inclusion program. Okay. Like something like that where that's just I mean, they for lack of a better analogy, lit the whole thing on fire, right? Like they were like, "We'll do that." And this is my lovely beautiful transition to our next topic because we're talking about fires. So, they lit it on fire, right? Let it burn. Speaking of things, it's so terrible. Speaking of things that have unfortunately burned, Maui. Wow. Okay. So this story has been going on for weeks now, and everyone knows it's a tragic story. Maui had huge fires. We still don't know what caused them, but somehow someone wrote a book saying climate change. Okay. Don't think that's what caused it, but sure. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure there's like
volcano.
storms in the
I think it was a
area, like
volcano that started the
or like a
fire.
telephone
I
wire,
don't actually know.
something burst
I haven't
or
been paying attention,
something.
but like,
No one, I don't know if we actually know, but the big problem is the administrator of Maui's emergency management agency, whose name is Herman Andaya, has resigned as of yesterday night because he did not sound the emergency alarms when the fires really started picking up. Now, his excuse, what he has said, is that he didn't want residents to flee towards the fire. Now, last time I checked, they were really bad. Who's gonna be like, oh man, I hear those emergency alarms. That big thing of smoke, that's where I need to go.
And
That's
see that
safe.
big ball of
What?
fire? I'm gonna go drive and walk to that. That's where I.
Yeah, like
People who live on
if
a
anything, they
volcanic
would leave the
island.
island.
Yeah. A
Yeah,
volcanic
like
island with, I don't know if Maui has an active volcano or not, but I don't think people, when they hear alarms, like say the volcano's erupting, they're gonna run straight to the mouth of the volcano and be like, "Oh, that's what the alarm means.
oh, gotta jump in. Yeah, like
Gotta jump
and
in."
he's like, well, what if they thought it was like a hurricane? Like, they're not stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but like, why do you think these people are that dumb? I don't want them to go inland towards the fires. Well, half the fires are on the coast anyway, so what does it matter? Like, you have at least 110 people who have died. We have over 1,000 still missing. And your excuse for not sounding an alarm is people would go towards the fire. Are you shitting me? Unless it's a firefighter, unless it's someone that has a family member in there, you're not gonna see that.
I
Um,
guarantee you, every single person has a cell phone, and there's this thing called an
crazy.
emergent. They where you get like an emergency weather, and it'll just start blurring on your phone. Everyone's phone does it because it's like I think like it's part of the I can't remember what the word's called, but you know their phone's gonna be buzzing saying, "Hey, there's a fire next door. You should go the opposite direction of it." And they could probably
Yeah,
look
yeah,
outside and see
right?
that, oh,
Well, like,
hurricane in this bright sunny day. I
yeah, and
mean,
so they're seeing. So in chat, they're saying he said that the sirens for just for tsunamis. Okay, what about that alarm that went off like years ago now, but like the fake like emergency, like they got the alert on their phones or whatever? Like, you're telling me
yeah.
that you can't find some way to alert the public? You can't put officials out there that can then, when the sirens go off, you see people running. There's a fire. Do not go that way. You're telling me you don't have one person who can do that on like like it's such bullshit to me. But the worst thing is the reaction from the federal government. Now listen, we've seen tragedy, we've seen it all, but we have a tweet here from Biden where he finally says that he's going to send aid
Oh,
over. Now, these fires started on the 8th of August. We're now at the 18th of August. It has taken 10 days for the Biden administration to decide that it's worth sending federal emergency aid.
wasn't it like $700 or something?
It was seven. That was the first part. Was $700 per household or something,
Ooh, yeah.
something stupid like that.
Ooh, here you go, boy.
Okay, like
Here
not even
you.
per person. Here you go. I'm gonna send millions of dollars over to Ukraine, but I'm
Billions of
not gonna
dollars.
send like billions of dollars over to Ukraine. But then we're not going to help you guys when it comes to my own citizens in my own country dealing with a wildfire that we don't exactly know. But like, how the hell are we gonna find out how it started if we can't even get through the initial part? Like, there are people volunteering their time, their money. There's people who have lost their homes are now joining these, like helping with these like human like chains of like, passing water down or whatever. And like helping, they've lost everything, yet they're the ones putting in the effort to help get things delivered to those who might be suffering more than them.
I'll tell you why they didn't send more money. It's because the money we send to Ukraine is in the form of like a loan, so we're gonna get that money back with interest. But if we send money to, our
Hmm.
citizens, oh, they're not gonna. We can't give them
They're not
money
going
and
to pay
then,
it back.
well, they couldn't ever get away with, here, we're gonna send you guys aid, but you gotta pay us back. So they're gonna give us
But
the
like, are you
least
shitting me?
amount of
We gave
money.
people we gave
Yeah.
people more money with COVID. Are you shitting me right now?
Oh,
There's
can't
less
afford that.
people affected by this, and we gave them less money. Like, Biden has spent so much money on other citizens of other countries. Yeah, he gave a loan to Ukraine. Are we going to see that money again? Probably not. I highly doubt we're ever going to see that money again, let alone the interest, right? We're not even going to get the principal of it back. And
Well, it's
so
probably
for you to
because the
not
U.S.
help
has
your
no money
citizens,
left. We're
well, there's
broke.
that. But like, for the money you do have, shouldn't you fucking spend it on your citizens? Sorry, I am speaking French over here today because I am angry. Like, you see these families, like, I heard a story yesterday where for 2 days a family was separated from their 13-year-old daughter who was still on Maui, and they had left to go do something on like another island or something, and then they tried to get back in to where the fire took place. They couldn't get there. They couldn't fucking get there because the officials wouldn't let them in. Like, that's our daughter. They had to literally put them on a boat and bring them like around, and that could be but why did it take 2 days? Why did it take 2 days for this family to be reunited with their 13-year-old daughter who is now unaccompanied on this island after probably losing their house or parts of it? Like the whole story, just the whole thing doesn't make sense. It's very odd. There was like a book that came out about how it's affected like climate change. It came out the day before, like it came out 2 days after the thing started. That's weird. That you like they're like, oh, we published it on the 10th, but the fires didn't end until the 11th or something. Like, excuse me, how the hell is that possible? That's
Child
just not like
child traffickers are looking at this like, hmm,
they're like
got a lot of unaccompanied kids around here. A lot of people are missing. I think we could add one more to the
that's
list.
okay because child trafficking, remember, it's a right wing conspiracy theory
Yep.
because of sound freedom.
Yep.
So just don't like like you can
Hmm.
have your right wing conspiracy theories all you want, and that's fine. But like you're just
Kids don't get
truly not a
trafficked. Kids
person.
don't get trafficked. There's
Yeah.
no
Okay.
kids don't get
Okay, Dirk. Open the
trafficked
closet.
across the United States border. They don't. That doesn't
No, of course
happen.
not.
No, that's not.
Mm-mm.
Those are all
Doesn't
refugees. All
happen.
those kids with those wristbands on,
Refugees.
they're refugees. That's why they
Hmm.
have the wristband on for
Yes,
cartel reasons. But don't worry about it. They're all
but that's
refugees.
not. That's fake. That's fake news. That is
Fake,
fake
fake
news.
news. It's not like
Fake news.
they brought it to like at the Senate hearing or something like that and showed it and asked the guy who works the southern border like what is this, and the guy just didn't know. None of that happened. It's not real. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, yeah. I
You guys are being gaslit by right-wing conspiracy theorists. There's nothing
Yeah, it's
going on.
all the right wing conspiracy theories. That's what it is. It's right wing conspiracy theorists that are just trying to put a narrative into your head. Left wing people don't do that. They don't try to put a narrative into
No,
your head at all.
no, not at
Or
all.
the children's head. They would never do that. That's just not something
No,
that they would ever do.
no, no.
And
Don't ever listen to anything from a right-wing like Fox News. They're just only spitting
never.
lies at you. Don't listen to them. Timcast Media Group,
Oh,
spitting
they're
lies.
the
Yeah.
worst with
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah.
They're the
Horrible liars.
worst.
Horrible liars. I
Horrible.
don't think I've ever
Horrible.
heard any of them say a single truth in my entire life.
Especially those guys over at Pop Culture Crisis. They're the
Hmm.
worst about it. Oh,
Terrible.
God. How
Terrible
dare
people.
they?
I mean, what
Awful,
pop
awful
culture
people.
crisis? There's no crisis in pop culture. Why would they
There's no
make
crisis anywhere. Everything's fine.
everything's
Just,
fine?
just ignore
Yeah.
everything happening in
Hey,
the world
we'll
right now.
legalize this drug so you guys can be happy. Now, please
You
piss
guys will
off.
be great. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So of course, thoughts and prayers go to the people of Maui while they try to hopefully find loved ones or have to unfortunately discover that their loved ones are no longer there. Um, that's just a tragic situation all around. Now, this next topic, speaking of pop culture, is about a Colleen Ballinger victim who lied about most of what happened to him. Now, this was not the main guy that came out and was a target of the yes, Serenko, more like poop culture crisis. Got him. That's right, Brett Dasovic and Mary Morgan. You heard it here first. Poop culture crisis. I literally just told Brett like not that long ago we were live. He probably just clicks the link and I'm like, poop culture crisis. So you're welcome, Brett. But let's see. So this story really infuriated me for multiple reasons. But one of the victims of Colleen Ballinger, or who claimed to be a victim of Colleen Ballinger and her ex-husband, Joshua David Evans, well, he's been called out now in a 4-hour video. Now I watched this on like 2 times speed, but a creator named Swoop did an entire thing where she, and I kind of watched it like in chunks, right? Like I didn't just watch like straight through, but provided so much information. And just to skim over it, Johnny was saying that Colleen and her ex-husband had groomed him and all that, when it turns out that he was an adult for most, if not all, of his interactions, and maybe some online interactions where he had tweeted them and they tweeted back. He was 17, but when he worked for Colleen and he went on tour with her as like one of the backstage people, and when he was friends with Joshua David Evans, he was 18, 19, 20. He's now 27. And believe it or not, he had mixed up all of his details in all these other interviews, right? Well, then they find out doing some digging, he's in group chats with minors. He's on video calls with minors. The same shit that he has been going off on Colleen Ballinger for and Joshua David Evans for has now been exposed for communicating with fans as young as 13 and being in group chats with them. And this is the exact shit that Colleen Ballinger got. I mean, there was some other things as well, and obviously it doesn't diminish anything. But like, then he tried to say that his story was like more important than the main kid Adam's, which like their experiences are totally different. Adam is only 20 now, and this all happened years ago, whereas Johnny, this guy, is 27 now. So even if this happened 10 years ago, he would have been 17, almost 18. But yeah, he was 18, almost 19 when most of the shit happened. And the reason that this made me so angry is that he's, first of all, he's grooming kids, clearly, right? Like he's affecting them or whatever, and in these group chats and communicating and talking about being drunk on camera when there's like 15-year-olds in the call, stuff like that. And it takes away from the very real stories of these other kids that have proof of their age. They were, they're barely 20 now, so when all of this happened they were much younger. But he was lying. There's a screen recording that this person who made this video, I mean, she was thorough. She talked to both sides. So she talked to Colleen's ex-husband, got his like screen recording of their DM conversations on Twitter, and then Johnny was hesitant to even send it, and then he did, and it turns out he was deleting messages he had sent to make it look different, that were present in the one screen recording but not the other side. So this entire thing has been like, I can't imagine playing the victim so hard that you have to get exposed for it. That's so ridiculous. So he comes out with a statement last night, and what is he doing? You guys guessed it. He played the victim. Isn't that crazy? Now, I don't know if this tweet is still up. I'm going to check now. I have not double checked on it. I did screenshot everything last night because I was like, in case he decides to go and delete it. Of course, it's taking forever to load for
I'll
me
tell you what,
here
this
because
is
I'm
the
just
life
going.
cycle of your average influencer YouTuber. They start a YouTube channel, they blow up, then they start talking to kids, and then and then they get exposed.
You mean the toxic gossip train? Come on, Derek.
Yeah.
The toxic gossip train. Oh, he's limited replies. Oh, that's the replies were open last night. So this is new. So this is Johnny Silvestri. That is his full name. Here is his statement in response. So he did a hour interview with this person. My computer shouldn't please stop shitting on me. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone because my
Is
computer
it the
wants to.
guidance in a safe space?
Oh, it's that state. You already know what statement. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go to his
Alright,
page
I got
now.
it up.
So it
So
doesn't take
everyone can be
quick,
graced
but
with.
yeah. So Johnny Silvestri posted this. Here we go. He said, so he did, for more context, did a 6-hour interview with this person where she asked about his experience. Originally, this documentary is supposed to focus on just the victims of Colleen Ballinger. Then this episode kind of turned because it turns out that him and one of his good friends are actually kind of creeps. And that's how that happened. So he said, betrayed is an understatement. My trauma was used against me today in a way I had never imagined would happen. I was given guidance and a safe space to share my story. I was praised for being so vulnerable and honest, only to be defamed on such a gross level that it feels beyond explanation right now. I feel so hurt and disregarded. Swoop, who's the creator, you claim to stand for your victims, and what you did today was a polar opposite. You have no regard for my life, the trauma I faced, my safety, or the safety of so many others involved. You completely shifted the narrative while making sure to promote your merch and fabricate a story for some extra revenue. Now, let me just say, I'm going to pause here. There were no ads on that. She promoted her merch at the beginning because there were no ads on this video. A 4-hour video, no ad revenue. So I'm just putting that out there because that's very important because that could be a lot of ad revenue for a 4-hour video. There's a lot of ad breaks you could put in there. No ad revenue on this video. She just promotes her merch and then literally cut out a section that she normally includes because she said the topics were far too serious for her to feel like she can do like this other kind of like funnier segment. So she said just like, if you want to support me, buy my merch. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, like she shouldn't have to totally neglect. Like she put all this
He's
time and
saying this
effort in.
4-hour
She's
video. I
got to
mean,
get some kind of and all this stuff. Like she was working on it, I think, for like 3 weeks, right? So like all this and it's very well done, very professionally done. So she has staff. So let's not, like he's trying to be like, oh, she did this. Like, there was no ad revenue. I'm just putting that out there because I watched it and there's no ads. Um, he said, I'm so beyond disgusted by all of this. I'm not going to sit here and defend myself to every one of your heinous allegations about me via Notes app, but I will be making a proper statement regarding all of the disgusting and false statements. This is 100% character assassination, and I won't stand for it. You encouraged me and made me feel like you are a massive source of trust. You chose to interview Adam about allegations regarding me rather than talking to me, which, for starters, is scummy. Of course, it's not as scummy as talking to minors, but sure. You wanted information at your request as if I wasn't working full time and in the process of moving, which I was upfront about. You can call name. Wow, that's a great sentence. You can call names, spread your lies, but I know the truth and will not be
Whoa.
stopping sharing it. So
Try to
basically,
shrink this
people play the
down.
victims and they're very good at it, right? Like they go and they play the victim. Just drop my phone. And the thing again, like the thing that makes me so mad is the fact that this actually is something that like he's like, I can't even address them. Well, no, because they're true. All these stories are true. And all of these minors that he's in communication with have been trying to defend him. That's what kids who have been groomed do. That's exactly what they do. What do you? That's exactly what they do. They defend it. What do you mean? So that story, I really wanted to follow up. We've talked about the Colleen Ballinger saga on here multiple times, and I wanted to bring it back around and talk about it because I felt it was important to not only update, but especially when there's stories like that where things are clearly a bit fabricated. We should talk about that and correct the story or update the story. We're going to go into our new segment, love that, called Dumpster Fires of the Day, where we're going to cover things that absolutely characterize the dumpster fire of a world that we live in. And we have two things today that absolutely highlight the dumpster fire of our federal government. So the first, we're going to play this clip of Nancy Pelosi. You want to go ahead and play
Yep,
that?
I'll start that.
We all want to thank the president for making all the difference in the world with an agenda of diversity, inclusion, innovation, and justice, always for the children. We all want to thank
For the children.
For children. So the first thing about this is, do you, do you not have like a thing to stand on to make you not like fall behind? Like if my microphone was like that,
She needs one of those things that Biden has, like those little lock-in feet
yeah,
things that locks
that's
in
what
his
she
feet so he doesn't
needs.
wander off or
Exactly. That's what she needs, something to like lift her up. She needs like, yeah, I don't know what, but something to lift her up, right? So she says for making all these differences in the world with an agenda of diversity, inclusion, innovation, and justice. Where's the justice for the people in Maui? Where's the justice for the families of those that were killed in Afghanistan when Biden decided to hastily pull out? Where is the diversity for normal average Americans? Like, you should embrace that your country has people from different walks of life, but we're all Americans, and that's what makes this country so great. Whereas instead, you're like, I'm gonna make sure we're inclusive of every single, like, it doesn't need to be that way. We're all Americans at the end of the day, and there's been like, I was talking about this last night on a podcast where like one of the things that I think we have lost is a sense of just being Americans. Like everything has to be so much like identity. Like everything is identity politics. We were talking about sports, right? And I was like, I used to go to sports games growing up, and I never once thought about the person next to me who could have been, I don't know, like a different race, a different gender, a different whatever. It doesn't matter their socioeconomic status. None of that mattered because in that moment we were fans, right, of the sport. And that's such a uniquely American thing. I think that like we can have those kinds of events. That's part of American culture. But now everything is, we have to have diversity, we have to have equity, we have to have inclusion. Why can't we just be Americans? Like why can't we just be happy with our country? The federal government doesn't give a shit about you. They don't care. They've never cared. They pretend to care, but they do not care. And that is because they themselves are an absolute atrocious mess. Another beautiful example of this is probably my favorite thing ever, honestly, because it speaks to like not only like is our current press secretary just stupid, I'm sorry, but she is. We can also see that, I mean, I'm sorry, but I miss Jen Psaki. I can't be the only one now that just misses Jen Psaki.
She was at least
She at
smart.
least
She was at least
she
smart.
at least could like, at least, you know, when she said circle back, we like knew what to expect. It was never gonna happen, right? Or when she said, like, at least we could expect that response from her. Whereas with Karine Jean Pierre, first of all, you shouldn't expect shit from her. Okay, don't expect anything from Karine Jean Pierre except for tweets that were meant for the president's Twitter account. So you can see that she tweeted and said, "Investing in America means investing in all of America. When I ran for president, I made a promise that I would leave no part of the country behind." Now, first of all,
I didn't know
Hawaii.
I didn't know she ran for president. I
You
must
know
have
what?
missed
Neither did
that. I
I.
must have
And
missed
then it was
that.
deleted. I am like, I don't know what intern lost their job that day because like there's no like, is there one
That's
that
on
like
her
wants to
personal. That's
count?
100% on her. Now we all
But
know.
is it the same person that runs the Biden and the press secretary account? Because how did they get access to that tweet that was supposed to be for Biden's account? Clearly was supposed to be for
It's
Biden's
got to
account.
be her. It's 100% her. I feel like she has her phone, and she has her personal Twitter, she has her press sec Twitter, and then she has the Joe Biden
Sorry,
Twitter.
someone tried calling me.
She has her Joe Biden Twitter. So just know from now on, it's Joe Biden, or it's Jean-Pierre is the lead spokesperson for anything. I mean, we already knew that, but now at least it's confirmed. You okay,
Yeah,
Olivia?
and wow, yeah, sorry, someone tried calling me and I was like, I can't talk right now. But yeah, I mean, guys, we live in a society, do we not?
We
Now,
live in
this
clown world.
society sucks. We live in clown world. It's a dumpster fire. We can clearly see that. I mean, come on, like that is so. It's meant for the president's account, and and it got like some good interaction before that shit was noticed. Like, how did you not see that? How
I,
are you that like you can't even tweet correctly? Why are you part of the government?
I like
Like,
this comment by I don't know how to say his last name. James Picklehart, I think. Hart says I prefer a president who writes his own posts.
yes, at least we knew when Trump tweeted something, it was Trump,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, you can give him shit for what he tweeted or whatever, but like, you cannot tell me right now that like that wasn't at least better than like some intern writing it. Like, at least we know when we get a tweet from Donald Trump, we're getting a tweet from Donald freaking Trump. Like, we knew, right? We weren't confused about it. We weren't like, what's going
Like Confifi.
weird, weird, weird. Like, right,
I
right.
want my goddamn Confifi tweets back.
Like,
We should
I
no.
I missed when my president would tweet
We
himself.
need to allow we sign into law. If you're the president, you must type your
You
own
must run your
tweets.
own account.
And I would love to see what incoherent messages Joe Biden can just tweet out.
It's
I
like
just want
3 a.m.
it's like
You just
watching,
get
you
like
know, you
poop.
just hear him lose his train of thought while he's talking, but I'd love to read him just lose his
The
train of
thought
thought.
process
Just the
behind it,
thought just
right? Like you
die.
can see the thought change instead of just seeing him go blank. You can actually see what the thoughts are. That would be great. I would love like an inner monologue of Joe Biden. I should make an account called the inner monologue of Joe Biden and just that would be
Joe Biden
funny. No one
thoughts.
steal that idea. That's my idea.
I
But
stole it.
that would be pretty funny. Shut the hell up. So, we're gonna go ahead and hop into a palate cleanser because my God, this world sucks. Now, Derek made fun of me for this, but I promise you it's not because of who it is. Taylor Swift is donating to food banks in all of the cities that she stop laughing. All of the cities that she has visited on her Eras tour. And that's just a very wholesome story. Like the best part is, oh hey Tacti Platty. The best part for me with this story is that it wasn't her promoting it because I feel like so many celebrities would be like, yeah, I'm donating. I'm doing this thing, right? Like I'm donating to food banks. She didn't say anything. The food banks have been like, wow, we got this huge donation from Taylor Swift. That's incredible. And they've been, and I don't know exactly what, the motive here is, if she's just being a good person, what it might be, I don't know. But I did want to point out just a wholesome story. Now, this could be any artist. Derek knows I love Taylor Swift, and many of you know that, but this could have been any artist. But I think because of the large amount of like influence she said, first of all, Taylor Swift is bringing back this economy. Let's be real, okay? She is fixing this economy one Eras tour stop at a time. And you can look it up. There's literally been like, oh, like our economy, like when she's in town, like we get so much more revenue from everything. And she gave her truckers like that bonus, like $100,000 bonus for the truckers, which is also like huge. Most stars at her level don't do that. They don't care about that. So that's, and I'm glad she's not giving to like a Planned Parenthood in every city. It's like a food bank, which is something that I think everyone can get behind. So it's a very wholesome story. It's something that I'm definitely like I love that. That's so
There's an
wholesome.
even more wholesome story with Taylor Swift. It was the VMA award ceremony with Kanye West.
I'm
Shut
really
the
happy
hell
for
up,
you.
Derek.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Why?
But Beyonce
I tried
had
to do
one
a
of the best
palate cleanser,
videos of
and he
all
has to.
time.
Sorry, I was just playing that clip real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, the thing is with Derek here is that he can't let me have anything nice, and so when he makes fun of me for liking Taylor Swift, and listen, yeah, I'm a Swiftie. I'm sorry, okay. I'm not one of these crazy ass Swifties, but I'm a Swiftie, okay. And this story could have been any artist. I would have done it right. Like I would have put this in there. But I think because of the magnitude in which she has like this giant audience, gets all this money. You always wonder what do celebrities do with their money. Most of them start some shitty foundation like Bill Gates. At least she's donating it to like people who actually need it. And that's really nice. Kanye West, I had a vendetta on him the second he did that to Miss Taylor. Love Taylor Swift. I did not go to the Eras tour because I am not psychotic, and I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to sit in the nosebleed section to see someone
Yeah,
perform on the
that's
stage.
I don't understand
So
Taylor Swift
at
fans
least
at
I'm
all.
not that level of like Taylor Swift fan. I really love her. I love her music, but I would never, ever, ever spend that much money. Like if it had been like a few $100s, then I'd probably consider like, okay, like maybe I can do it. But nosebleeds in Detroit were like, and that's still a few hours drive for me. They were $2,000 to sit in the nosebleed section like the day before the concert, and I was like, that's absolutely not happening.
Well,
Like,
that's why
if
you
anything, the prices
buy
should be
tickets
dropping.
like, months in advance.
Do you remember the internet breaking from the pre-sales and the sale, like the public? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Because that
Olivia?
happened.
Olivia? I don't think anyone remembers that because I don't think anyone cared about that.
Do you the whole Ticketmaster site went down, the whole thing. So you can't tell me no one cared. Like they broke the internet for quite. It was
They broke a
insane, and I
website, not the internet.
listen. They broke multiple parts of the internet,
A small,
and people were
tiny,
like,
insignificant
people
fraction.
couldn't get tickets for other shows that weren't Taylor
Oh,
Swift because the whole thing was down.
they
Like
would have
that.
waited for a day.
That's
They would have
tough.
been fine.
Um, but it's because there was so much anticipation, so many people trying to
Of course,
get
Tat
these
Pie
tickets.
remembers.
Yeah, see, at least someone remembers. At least someone's on a dick to me. So the thing is, with these, stuff like this, where we have wholesome stories, yeah, Ticketmaster did get in trouble. That was, yeah, I do remember Hannah Claire trying to buy them when she was on Pop Culture Crisis. She was like refreshing the page. Very reminiscent of when Lollapalooza was actually like the biggest thing you could go to, like the biggest music festival. Like, I don't know, probably like 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I remember being in the computer lab for my senior project during my English class. And I remember there were people that were going and they were like getting group tickets. And there was a group of like 5 or 6 people all doing their paper and then refreshing the Lollapalooza page as well to try to buy these tickets because it was going on sale while we were at school. And they were like, it was like that. It was so bizarre. It was like they were all trying to see who could get tickets first. And I remember when they got the tickets because they were so excited. And our teacher was like supporting it. It was like the most bizarre thing. So like I can only imagine what that was like. I don't even know if they don't do computer labs anymore, do they though? Because like everyone has their own personal little
I
laptops
mean,
now and like
uh, I think this. I couldn't say from like my
maybe for like a
experience.
computer tech
Like
class specifically. obviously, but
No, I'm thinking like, well, yeah, tech class, but like a lot of those school computers can't do. You gotta remember, most of these schools aren't getting like, well, mine did. We got Mac Pro Airs, but most schools are getting like Chromebooks
they have
that can,
Chromebooks at a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever interacted with a Chromebook before.
Oh, I have.
They don't
They're
run
great.
worth a, yeah, they're,
No, but I think, most places they have them in the library, but I like most
yeah,
schools don't have a dedicated computer lab anymore because they have the internet right there, right on their Chromebooks or whatever. And so anything you might need to go down there for, you now have it right in front of you. Even if it's not a great version of it, it's still the thing. Everyone's so lazy that they don't go and like try to, you know. I remember when we went to the computer lab, and we had those Macs that were like
yep.
the colored one. I'm trying to remember what they were. They were like the colors on the side. They had like you could see, yeah. Those were, oh, I love those. I love those. It's so nostalgic. Those Macs specifically.
I had
Those were the best.
those big, oh, what were those old MacBooks? They were like this big. It was like one of the first like laptop MacBooks they had,
Yeah,
and our school got a donation of them from a bigger school because we went. I can remember we're a tiny little school, so this is when they first started
yeah.
getting laptops. They got these massive, just I mean they were like bricks carrying around these things, and
We didn't get laptops at my school. I went to a big school. I went to
yeah.
a
Well, they can afford
good
giving everyone.
school.
They can afford to give everyone when you only have 150 students in your entire high
Yeah.
school. It's easy to
Well, and the
dish
thing
around.
is, like, the MacBooks were so bad when I worked in middle school. They were terrible, and like the students would get so distracted. I'd be like trying to monitor the students that like needed to work on stuff, and they'd be trying to play games on the side. I'm like, listen, you think I haven't tried to hide things from adults before? You think I have? You think I haven't done this? I'm not like I'm older than you, but I'm not stupid, and I'm not that much older where I'm like a boomer, right? Like I can see what you're doing.
You're kind of a boomer.
I just got out of college. I know all the evasive tactics y'all are doing because I was in college doing the same shit in my class if a professor was talking and I had to switch the tabs or whatever. I went to a small college, so they would sometimes like if they were like walking around lecturing, I would be like and switch
Command
over to
H,
like my
Command
main.
H, Command H.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew what they were doing. They didn't realize that they weren't as smart as they thought they were. They probably still think that they're not,
Well, I think a
whatever.
lot of them
But
have iPads now too. I've seen that.
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
like
there's too like, then bring back the regular computer lab, right?
I
Like,
think they're
I wish
trying
we
to
would bring that
like
back.
eliminate what is it called? Oh, my camera's acting up. Uh-oh, I bumped my crappy camera. But no, I think they're trying to
Oh my
eliminate like
goodness.
paper waste and stuff. So they're just giving kids iPads and like those little
I get that,
stencils.
but
I
like,
understand that, but like let's give a kid I
well,
can't.
teachers go and print out their papers anyway on their own, and then like I remember when I used to have to print it at home, and bring it like in like my paper, like a paper was due, and you had to print it at home, bring it in, and turn it in, or we'd have like handwritten exams. We would have like I don't think any of these kids have ever handwritten any like their handwriting gets worse and worse every year, and that's because they're not learning how to appropriately
Oh,
write.
mine was always
Like,
bad. Mine was just.
well, a lot of guys have bad handwriting. I don't
Ew,
know
whoa,
why.
whoa, what's
Well, am
ooh,
I
cool
wrong?
the
Am I
sexism, cool
wrong?
the sexism down, hey there.
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. So you can pick on me all day, but I can't. Listen, I have decent handwriting, but I know plenty
Yeah,
of
'cause you're a girl.
males who. Exactly my point! What the heck? You just proved my point! Like, you choose the sexism. Okay. Sorry, you guys are getting an inside scoop of what I deal with off camera, and now we're live, and I'm like yelling at Derek. So we're gonna go ahead, close out the show before we start going in a full-on argument on camera because Derek wants to prove my point for me, apparently. So thank you guys so much for watching today. If you're watching this later, thank you so much for catching up on these episodes. Don't forget to follow us on Patreon for exclusive content, behind the scenes looks at my Pearl deep dive, because wow. And of course, more commentary and articles you will not get on here, so you need to go ahead and go on to the Patreon. At $1, $3, or $5 a month, you will get exclusive content from us. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Olivia Claire, 3 A's and Olivia, 2 E's at the end of Claire. You can follow Derek at Real Derek Benson on Twitter/X/whatever the kids call it nowadays. You can follow the podcast at
Boomer.
TD Fire Podcast on the Twitters. And don't forget to catch clips this week from this episode that we'll eventually go through and clip some things. And then we'll be working on more content. In 2 weeks, you'll have that Pearl video, which is going to be huge. There's so much information I've gathered that people haven't seen before. Very excited for it. We will either be live or try to get some stuff up within the next few days, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
All right, see you guys.